Okay, so once you've got it installed, if you go to your folder where you've downloaded and extracted and installed xampp, mine is just xampp2. Doesn't matter where you can call it wherever you want. You should see a series of folders which have been installed, and also at the bottom you'll see where you can start and stop xampp. Okay, what you need to do is, if you go to xampp control, if you double click on that, you get a window asking you which services you want to start up. Okay, so I'm going to start up your app Apache and MySQL, and it obviously shows you the port numbers it's working on. We'll be using. Once you've done that, if you close the window, okay, so that is now started up the Apache and MySQL. Okay. The other thing you need to bear in mind is if you've installed it on a USB stick, what you have to do occasionally is just refresh the configuration file, or just reset the configuration file. The way you do that is, if you go back into your xampp2 folder, there's a file here called setup.xampp. If you double click on that, I mean, I'm getting some warnings on here, but what you should see is it'll say, okay, it'll say 1 to refresh the configuration and 2 to quit. If you press 1 and press enter, that essentially just refreshes your configuration for wherever you've plugged in your USB stick in one of the university machines, and it'll work on that machine for that time. Okay, as soon as you take it out and take it to a different machine, you might have to run that setup.xampp setup._xampp batch file again, just to refresh the configuration. Okay, so once you've done that, you've got your services running. If you just double click on that, that just should show you what services you've got running there, and everything should be okay. If there are any errors, if this doesn't start, you get a warning, and it tell you exactly what the warning is in here, in which case you then have to go back, double click on that setup.xampp just to refresh your configuration to get it running again. Okay, so once that's done, you have essentially got xampp installed. So if you open up a browser window, and if you go, just type in here localhost and press enter, this window here essentially tells you that you've got xampp installed. If you don't see this when you type in localhost, just localhost, that will tell you that your services isn't running. Okay, there's some different options on the top, which is I'll talk about in a minute. The other one you need to double check is your xampp is working. Sorry, your MySQL, your database is working. So if you click on that, here you'll see your PHP MyAdmin, and this is where you administer your different databases. Okay, well, this is where you set up your database, you're adding your tables, your fields, and so forth. Okay, so by clicking on that, that will show you that you've got your database up and running. Okay, which is fine. The other one you need to double check is, if you just click on PHP info, this will tell you the version of PHP you've got, in which case is 7.2.32, and also tells you your different kind of services that you've got running, your environments, any of what core values you've got in there, everything about your installation of PHP. Okay, and this is usually useful if you ever get an error and you look online. What it will tell you, some people will say, okay, you need to check, different extensions have been installed, in which case you might have to do it in here to make sure that it is turned on or turned off in some cases. Okay, so that just tells you about what version of PHP you've got. Okay, the other ones are just a how-to guide, how to do set up different things using xampp. There's an FAQ guide in there, and obviously just going back to your application. But like I say, if you just type in your local host, that will show you that you've got xampp installed for Windows or whatever system you've got. Okay, and this is where you can then move forward and start building your application, so which will explain about how to do that.